Welcome to the Dough Show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Man, this week has gone by quick, but it's okay. Good things happening here. We're all very excited, of course. I hope you're having a good week as well. If you're watching this for the first time, the Dough Show is just about talking about your dough, where I help you with all these sorts of different topics. Sometimes we really go geeky and talk about details of things. Other times we help with personal finances, retirement investing. Well, you saw the intro, you understand. So what I want to do every now and then is I want to cover what's the government doing with your dough. Not all bad news, of course, but maybe it's something you would like to share your opinion on. If so, leave a comment down below. What the problem is the only thing interesting on TV is drama. And there's a couple channels, E! News, or what is it, E! And then the other channels that have like those shows that are drama. The Kardashians and the housewives of wherever. And so it gets attention. Those shows exist because it creates attention. My favorite one is the realtors of New York and LA and stuff. I like looking at the houses, but now the shows are all drama. Well, if you look at your news channels, your popular news channels, CNN, Fox, all the other ones, it's all about drama. And so all they talk about is what Trump said or what the Democrats did to push back or what Republicans think is crazy or whatever it is they're talking about. They pick a side and then they argue the side. It creates drama. It makes you either love or hate them, but either way you're watching, and so they love it. The problem is they don't talk about your dough because that's not interesting. People don't want to hear about that, but they're still doing these things every day. So I thought today I'd share 4 quick articles of what the government's wanting to do or currently doing with your dough. One of them will just shock the living daylights out of you. It's brilliant, to be honest with you. And let me know. Leave a comment. What do you think? So let's start with the first one. Mr. Marco Rubio. You guys know him as a guy that ran for president. Mr. Trump made fun of him, of course. But Marco Rubio is obviously very popular here in Florida, Florida State Senator. And so here we go. Marco Rubio has put this plan out there where parents, if you just had a baby, you can apply to Social Security for some money. So Social Security doesn't, we know how they're kind of struggling there. Here's what he wants to do. They want you to be able to take, how do we put it here? Okay, if you have a baby, then the idea is one of you could stay home with that baby for 2 months, or as long as you want really, but you would get 2 months of benefits from Social Security in exchange for cashing it in early, meaning you'll delay it by 3 to 6 months when you retire if they give you some up front. So the idea is really simple. If you are having a baby, you'd apply to Social Security, and after the birth, or if you adopted a child, that counts too, you would be able to receive 2 monthly payments of equivalent size from Social Security. Then you would delay your Social Security by 3 to 6 months, depending on how much you took, and you'd be able to stay home with your family. Now, he seems to think that by getting 2 months from Social Security, that somehow you could stretch it out to 3 or possibly 4 months and get to stay home. And it doesn't matter. It can be the husband, it could be the wife. If it's a same-sex marriage, you can choose, right, which one that you want to stay home. It doesn't have to be just the mom of the child. And so you could essentially do that. So he figures that the impact on Social Security would be relatively small, factoring in about $7 billion a year for this sort of thing here. Now, of course, there's 2 arguments to this. There's really good arguments on both sides. One, hey, look, other countries have paid family leave and everybody sort of chips in. You have a baby, you get to stay home with that baby and sort of spend the first few months with them. Okay. The other side of the argument is, what? Social Security can't afford this, can they? Well, we'll get to that later, but that's the argument. That's what they're pitching. And I believe Ivanka Trump is part of this argument as well. She's really one of the strong spearheads of this whole argument here. But Marco Rubio is essentially willing to take the arrows if there are any. And so that's what's happening. Now, I know in California you guys have paid leave, but don't you pay them out of your payroll taxes and not through Social Security? So what do you think? Is that a good way to offer paid family leave by taking from Social Security now and then delaying it in the future? That's a tough one, right? Because everybody has a heart. You want to do the right thing, but do we really have to get it from Social Security? So that's the first one. The second one of the day is by far the coolest thing I have heard all week. And this is a testament to keep your kids in school, let them learn the law. If they're going to be a lawyer or something, you got to push these kids to be in school. Here's how this one works. You have the Teamsters. Let me see exactly who it was. I want to get this one right. So this is the New York State Teamsters Conference Pension and Retirement Fund. Here's what they did. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let me know what you think about this. They don't have enough money to pay out pensions that are due to people. Remember, that pension is your vested balance, your vested money. It is yours. You are owed that money, at least what you put in, right? So what they did is they went to the Treasury and they said, hey, we don't have enough money to pay for these pensions. So what we're asking for is a reduction of 29% a month for these people that are owed these pensions until such time there's no more money there, or they're getting pennies, right? And it's not even worth it. And so they went to the Treasury and they had to ask permission. Totally normal. That is the step that they had to take. However, they were hoping that the Treasury would say yes, that you could do that. The Treasury did say yes. Tell you what, you can reduce the benefits, which is just crazy, by the way, the fact that they're already starting to do this, because you know other states are going to go, well, can't we do that too? We don't have enough money. So they said, here's what they're going to do. We want to do 29% a month lower until the person no longer needs the pension, meaning they died. Treasury Department said, yep, we accept that. You can go ahead and do it. And the Teamsters turned around and said, aha, we got you. There is a rule called the Multi-Employer Pension Reform Act of 2014, passed by the government, that says if you allow a union or a pension company, pension provider, to reduce benefits to existing pension members, then the Treasury actually has to make up the difference. So they got them. They totally busted them on this. And the government's saying, well, we don't have that money. We can't do it. And they're saying, well, go to the Pension Benefit Guarantee Company. Corporation. Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation. Those are the guys that insure your pensions. So they said, well, go to them. Get the money from them. They're supposed to have enough money. Well, if you've seen any of our other videos, you know they don't have enough money. It's not there. They don't have any money. So now the government's saying, well, wait, you can't reduce these things. And they said, no, too late. You told us we could. And since you told us you could, now you have to foot the bill, which means they essentially turned a state pension or a localized pension into a federal pension. They did it. They found the loophole in the system. So totally crazy how they did that. It is up for debate at the moment, but there's currently a lawsuit, and they're trying to make it a class action lawsuit so this can open up to more and more people. That's pretty scary, guys. I talk about pensions. We have alerts set for every state, what's going on in the states, and of course their pensions, how they're doing, good or bad. We'll cover Texas in a second, but that's pretty scary, because now every other state, every other pension company can go and argue that case. And as of now, seems like they're going to win. Okay, let's move on to Texas here. So Texas teachers' pension. Here's the thing. Occasionally, pensions will give a raise. And in the Texas teachers' retirement system, they said, thanks to our investments, we are going to yield a smaller return than we expected. Sorry, right? Bonds didn't participate as well as we thought. Yesterday's video, we talked about that a little bit, how these guys are having to take more and more risk. Well, kudos to the Texas teachers' retirement system. They said, we're not going to take any more risk. We're going to expect lower returns. And so everybody that participates, just expect lower returns. Where'd they get their assumptions from? Vanguard, JP Morgan. They both have said you guys need to expect lower returns over the next decade. I happen to agree with that. Now, the teachers' pension wants to give Texas teachers a raise. The retired teachers, they want to give them a raise, a small one, a normal standard raise. The problem is, in the laws, it says the legislature has to approve at least another $786 million in funding to make them solvent. That's the key word. That's not my word. I'm not trying to scare you. That's the key word. To make them solvent before they can approve a raise. So what's the argument? There is no $786 million. Where the hell are we going to get the $786 from? We need to approve that first before the teachers can have a raise. Well, unfortunately, there is no money. So teachers are not going to get a raise, period. They've actually said the average payment for pension plans is $2,060. Now, they have to approve the $786 million a year for the next 30 years minimum. And do you think that number is going to go up? It's going to go up a little bit, right? So they said, look, if you can't pass this, then teachers are never going to get a raise in their lifetime, period. We won't be able to give them a raise for 50 to 100 years. Their numbers, not mine. What's the problem with that? In Texas, teachers put 7.7% of their salaries into that pension fund, and the state pays 6.8% towards it. It essentially means you got to get your dough straight. You got to manage your own money. You have to keep control of your own accounts. So when I make these arguments about roll over your 401k, make sure you have your own IRAs, contribute on your own, do your own thing if there's no match anywhere, which it seems like now there's not going to be, because you control it. It's you that is responsible for your retirement. When it comes to the Social Security argument that we just made for paid family leave, why is it not up to the family? Why aren't we teaching people how to save their money, making them save their money in a way that allows them to take time off, right? Why does it have to be that someone has to pay for it? When it comes to that lawsuit in New York, why does it have to be that the government has to make up the difference? Why don't people take control of their own retirement accounts and do their own thing? So there's another warning. There's 3 articles right there that are not my opinion. These are actually happening as we speak that really prove you got to learn, right? Go through all of our videos, learn how things work, or work with us here. I'll show you how it all works. It's a piece of cake, right? We'll get you set up. You got to take control of your own money. And the last one I'll leave you with is has to do with Social Security. This one comes from Market Watch. There is now no guarantee that you will get what you've put into Social Security. I get it. There are benefits over and above what you put in. But you have to keep in mind that what you put into Social Security is not some sort of government grant. It is not some sort of like, attaboy, you worked and you paid in and therefore we'll pay you for the rest of your life. That's your money. That is supposed to be put into an account that is yours. Whatever you put in, at the very least, is yours to take out. Now they're saying that's not going to be the case. Here's the thing. Now they're the head of the Social Security is actually the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin. Is it Steve? Still? Here's what they did. Monthly checks will start to get cut by 23% in the year 2034. And you know it's not the year 2034. It's going to be sooner than that. But they're already doing this now. They're saying that this is how this has to go. You think, oh, not a big deal, 2034, it doesn't matter. It's really more like 2026 because Medicare, the hospital insurance, Medicare will be completely depleted by 2026 is what they're saying, which means they're coming after Social Security next to help fund that department. So they're already reducing those as well. Now, some of the blame for this, they try to blame it on demographics. I buy some of that, right? Because there's less workers for every Social Security recipient, but that's a constant cycle. That just goes in little waves, like hurricane season. Down here in Florida, we're going to have a hurricane of some kind somewhere. It's just a matter of how many there are. Same thing with the demographics there. The second argument is that this new tax cut has actually lowered how much they're bringing in Social Security. I don't buy that one bit. And the third is the most ridiculous reason that they gave was they say that President Trump's decision to stop offering young undocumented immigrants to reprieve from deportation while allowing them to work is also cutting into the anticipated tax revenue. That whole sentence completely undoes itself, or whatever the word is, because it doesn't make any sense. We're allowing them to stay here and work, and therefore they're paying into it. Maybe not as much as we'd hoped, but they're paying into it. So bottom line is, they say we won't run out of money until 2032, which is slightly better than forecasted, but they're expecting to start reducing these Social Security payments by 23%. What does that mean? When we factor how much you need for retirement, we do this for our customers. They say, hey, this is everything that I have. I want so much in retirement. We always put Social Security in there. You know what we're doing now? We're going to lower it by 30% because it's happening. It's not opinion. It's not like a scare tactic. It is actually fact at this point. And this is stuff that, to be honest with you, if you want to get political parties to really get to work, that's the kind of stuff we need to be talking about. I don't care what Trump said about some girl 50 years ago or whatever it happened to be. Was it wrong? We can all agree it was probably wrong. But I don't care. I don't want to know about that. I want to know about my dough. I want to know what they're doing to get their dough straight rather than this garbage that they show on TV. So those are just 4 quick articles. We're going to share them every now and then. We'll do whatever the most current event ones are. I got to tell you, I get 50 articles a day that have to do with changes to pension plans. I'm not saying that it's one from every state, by the way. It's just how I have it set. The changes that they're making are coming. So you pay into it. You really need to question how you're participating in these plans, and you really need to question what things you can do to save. Is it some sort of marketing with the guise of trying to scare you a little bit? Of course, right? If I'm totally honest with you, I hope you work with us. I hope you go to our website, you check us out, and maybe we're a good fit. But if not, I want to point you in the right direction. We're 100% fiduciaries here. We'll never change that. And if working with us is not the best fit, or if you need to get your dough straight before you start investing or figure out the best path, I'll help you. I'll push you in the right direction. I hope it's with us, but of course, I'll do whatever's right for you. The bottom line from today's video is you are the only one who can be responsible for your money, your family's money. Of course, you still have to pay into Social Security. We get it. You want to talk about something, by the way, that will unite the whole entire country, put this on TV. Like, what? Talk about Social Security being cut. That would unite everybody. We would drop all of our differences immediately. I'm telling you. Like, who cares if you want to marry a snake, or who cares if you're Republican or Democrat or whatever? You start telling people that you're going to take away money that was promised to them, and this should be taught in schools, by the way. This is not some sort of entitlement or some sort of, help, handout from the government. This is your money. You were supposed to get this back. So, man, I hope this makes the news headlines. But if you're in Texas and you're a teacher, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a raise. If you're in New York City and a part of that union, it looks like the government is going to have to bail you out. I'll keep you posted. They're going to fight back hard to say that they can't afford it. If you're expecting a baby or adopting a baby, maybe there's some help for you there. I think there's a better way to go about it, but at least, they're working on it. I think we should work on it, by the way. My opinion is we should work on it. I would love to see parents be able to stay home with their kids, but can we do it differently, right? And why does it have to be a government-run program? It should no longer be that because you know what they're working on now, by the way, is a government IRA. And so basically, all the big companies are fighting to be one of the top people that they choose for this. But they're working on where the government is going to force you to put money into an IRA and give it to them. And they'll be like, no, we got it. Don't worry about it. How is that going to work, right? They've clearly proven they're not good with their dough. So that's all I have for you today. I really appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back, of course, at 5 o'clock for the closing beat. The stock market is absolutely asleep today at the moment, but we'll cover everything. There's still some things moving around on the old Jello plate that we keep talking about. If I helped you in some way, if I fired you up, leave me a comment. What do you think about all this stuff? Am I way off base? Do you feel differently? Do you want something to be done a little differently? Let me know. It only helps. Let's start the conversation here and take all of our our little group of viewers and see if we can change something there. All right, we'll talk to you later. Enjoy.